One of the advantages of using radians for the angular measure is this working out the length of arcs and the area of sectors. So we know, of course, that the circumference of the whole circle is 2 pi r, and the area, of course, is pi r squared. But if we just want a piece of the circle, so if I'm going from A to B on the circumference, so that would, of course, would be an arc that we're trying to find. So we just need that proportion of the circle. So L, the angle at the centre is theta, so the proportion of the circle would be theta over 2 pi, but then nicely the 2 pi cancels and we get a nice neat formula. Just that the length of the arc is r times the angle at the centre. But of course it does rely on that angle being measured in radians. So there's the length of an arc, and in an area a similar thing happens. If I want the area of that sector, then it will be the proportion of the circle, so theta divided by 2 pi, the pi's cancel, and we just get the formula half r squared theta. Now, of course, I've done it for the minor arc and the minor sector. If we wanted to work out the major one, then we'd use the reflex angle there. All right, so let's just do a simple little example. And I've, on purpose, made the angle 45 degrees just to remind us that, hang on, we've got to convert to radians for this formula to work. So the length of the arc, well, 45 degrees would be pi on 4 radians. So we'd get 5 pi on 4 centimetres as an exact value. And the area of that sector turns out to be, when we sub it all in, 25 pi on 8. So straight substitution. The other thing they do like to ask is the area of the segment. So not the sector, but the segment. Now, if I wanted to find that minor segment there that I've just hashed in, well, basically, it's going to be the sector minus the triangle. So half r squared theta for the sector, but then we could use the sine rule on the triangle, half AB sine C. But in this case, A and B are both the radius, and so we get a half r squared sine theta. You could factorise the half squared out. Some people like to remember that as a formula. Some people just remember, oh, I've just got to find the area of the sector minus the area of the triangle. I mean, whatever your preference is. So, all right, we'll do it for this one. We get a very interesting answer at the end. Quite ugly. 25 pi root 2 minus 100 over 8 root 2. So anyway, 11i is just on finding the area of these different shapes.